the current building that they're moving to, is that what you're asking?
What's going on?
Currently, that's, yeah, so currently the use of the building is Young Service Center. They do warranty work for the dealerships that are up here
Or
for Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge. And they have bays in there, but that's all it is, so it's not a, yeah.
Right next to Ridley's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, auto repair, so. Oh, sorry, can you hear me now, Jason? Yes, okay, sorry. Okay, thank you. One thing that I think is great about this development, on 525, it's a collector street, and we have an 8-foot wide sidewalk on one side and a 5 on the other. The 8-foot sidewalk is a trail on one side. And
So is Scott Drive gonna hook into that page? It will, okay.
yeah,
Okay, so it'll hook into the other street, okay?
Yeah, Scott Drive, he's saying that that's 525.
right.
Yeah, 525.
On our general plan, it's identified as medium density residential, so that matches. Engineering does have some comments. There's a few things to be worked out. However, those will be worked out in the final plat phase of it. So it doesn't necessarily, we don't have to handle all of them right now in this phase and for the pre-plat. Some of the issues, there's an irrigation pipe that'll be rerouted. That's really kind of, that we went over that earlier today. That's the biggest issue is the irrigation pipe. The site has all the utilities. Title report comes back okay. It is agricultural property, so there will be the rollback taxes, but they'll address that. No issues with the geotechnical report, and it's not in a sensitive lands. So this is it down here. So this is phase one. And then phase two that we're currently in now.
I guess we're quite go to Scott's Drive, right?
Yeah, we'll pull that up. So. Yep, right here, 525 come down, we'll come down and then connect into Scott Drive. And that's a collector on our transportation map. This is the local street, the cross one. They'll have this 60-foot right of way. That's our typical right of way. And then this is the wider one that we were discussing with the trail on one side, right here, and the sidewalk on the other side.
But maybe you mentioned, Jake, but the sidewalks are wider in this new subdivision.
On the collector.
Okay.
So on one side is on the 525 that goes into Scott. It's essentially a trail on the street is what it's meant to be. So 8 feet on one side. Part of our trails plan. So, and the developer is going to build it. So that's great. Any concerns or anything specifically with the subdivision you want to look at? It meets our subdivision ordinance.
It's straightforward.
Yeah, it is. It is. There will be some issues for engineering to work through on the final plat.
So we're just looking for an approval of phase two to be able to forward to the
Yeah.
city council?
No,
No.
planning commission approves the preliminary plat.
Okay.
And then it goes to administrative land use, which is legal, planning, and engineering together.
Okay, so we would, if everyone feels okay about it, we would just approve
Yeah,
phase two of this development.
yeah. And I think a good thing to look at for preliminary plat is the layout. Does it have, the street connections, the lot sizes? Is it matching with our general plan? Is it matching with zoning? And you don't have to be worried about the details too much in terms of some of the nitty gritty engineering. Anything else on that?
I think so.
Okay, the next item is the continuation of the public hearing. And the reason we're continuing it, because last time we kind of opened it up for discussion and without necessarily having everything nailed down specifically. And so we want to continue that public hearing. But then tonight, if you feel that it's ready, you could make a recommendation and it would go on to city council. And I'll go to what we're proposing. Okay, so this would be ordinance 2606. And I took the existing ordinance and redlined it. So the minimum lot widths, and we're just talking corner lots. That's all this applies to is corner lots would be, for R120 would be 90, R112 would be 80, R110 would be 80, and RM15 would be 80. I left R18 as the greater just because those lots are getting smaller. And the RM7 isn't allowed currently anyway, so I wouldn't worry about that a whole lot. Excuse me, R18 is not allowed. RM7 is allowed, actually. And the, go ahead,
This is just corner lots.
just corner lots. So you'll see, if you look right here, this is from our actual table, right here, minimum lot width fee at setback. So that's the lot width at the setback, not at the street. And the inside lot is the one on the left, we're not touching that. And then the corner lot, which is the one at the right, is where we're making some of those adjustments. The reason for it is it has minimal impact on changing the nature of the city, but it does allow for a little bit more flexibility and development. And if you were laying out a block and your corner had to be wider on both sides, and then the rest of your lots could be more narrow, it doesn't, quite line up. And I looked at it with setbacks, and it'll be okay with setbacks. We're not changing the setbacks.
So when we open this up to a public hearing, do you anticipate any concerns with, I mean,
No, we
this
didn't
is all
hear.
new developments, right? I mean,
Yes, it's
gonna
only,
affect anybody
this
that's,
only is for new development. So there's that item as part of it. And then this next item, this one is, so how our code is written now, your side yard setback is a minimum of 12 if it's a 1 acre lot. And then it goes down to 10, and that's on both sides. But what we're saying is, what if you wanted to shift your house over 3 feet towards your neighbors and have a wider side yard so that you could have a concrete pad for a trailer or an RV or a truck or a gravel area or just a wider landscape area? Yeah, a lot of cities have already done this in Utah, and it just gives a little bit of flexibility. Same size of setback, but it allows you to shift the home. And of course, this really applies to new homes because nobody's gonna go pick up their home and move it. But I think it would be really nice to give people a little bit of flexibility to have that. And what code enforcement is actually really excited about is that for the new development, we'll see less RVs on the street, which is a problem, less trailers on the street, which is a problem in the city, because you can only have an RV for 24 hours and then you have to move it. But a lot of people just move it 1 foot. And then that doesn't really solve the problem. So we'd like to see maybe people use their side yards a little bit more.
So if they shift it, there's still the required minimum distance to the next house.
Yeah, that's the 7.
That's the 7.
Yeah.
So.
And it could be anywhere in between. It could be 10 and 10.
Yeah.
It could be 11 and 9. It could be 8 and 12. It could be 7 and 20. And we went over this with code enforcement and construction, and there's no issue with having homes a little bit closer on one side. There's no fire concern or building concern.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying it. In the past, we've been told that the 10 foot was a fire need. So now you're saying that 7's okay for fire need. I'm just,
Yeah, that's
Clarify that.
building code. That's international building code. Meets it.
And just on that, it's 10 feet between structures. That's the fire code. And so at the old way, the one before, it was 10 feet on your property, 10 feet. So they were already 20 feet away. You're not going to have anything closer than 14 feet now.
The primary reason used to be because we would have public utility easements
oh,
on side lots. And those were 5 feet on each side. And we've taken those away. We really don't need them. We don't go between buildings with our utilities, between residential units. And so that's changed over the years as well. So
most everybody has fences down there, so that eliminates fire trucks getting down there anyway.
Well, they stay on pavement.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, that's true. And even if it was 7 and your neighbor did 7, that's still 14.
Well, your neighbor be at 10, because they're not a corner.
What's that?
Your neighbor be at 10, because they're not a corner.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you had 7 and they had 7, then you're at least at 14. No.
Your neighbors still have a 10 because they're not a corner. They still be 10. Your neighbors still have a 10.
Oh, this applies to all the lots.
This is all lots.
Yeah, this one applies to all
Don't we
the,
see where you changed from just corner to all lots?
yeah, excuse me, except for non-corner. Corner still has their own specific requirements. And that's because, the utilities run down both sides, so they can't move into that.
So how do I know which part of this is corner and which is not corner lots?
So the next one down, right here, minimum side yard, corner lot. And then up here in the text, I added minimum combined side yard setback, minimum one side, non-corner. So the question might be, if you are a corner lot, could you go over on the inside lot? Which I think would be fine. Does that make sense? So if it's a corner lot, could you slide over towards your interior lot? And there, this would apply to that. It would just give you a bigger space out on the street if you wanted it. And I think the way to handle that might be,
Bigger house there, I mean.
we would say non-corner side. That would just flip. I think if you're okay with that, just maybe make that in the motion and I'll adjust the text language to match it.
I'm sorry, Jay, I was
Say
thinking
again,
this
what
was
do
a
we need to include? That you can, it can apply to a corner.
Corner lot, but only the interior side. So if you had a corner lot, we're not talking around the perimeter, but next to your interior lot,
Okay.
then it could slide over to that 7 feet. But it still would be a larger on the, I think we would still meet that total distance. It would just show up on the other side. Gary, what are your thoughts on that? Okay,
That would work just as an amendment.
yeah.
Whoever makes the motion, just add that amendment to it.
Okay, I was thinking this was just corner, I apologize. So again, refresh my memory quickly on the rationale to change these on interior lot. Why are we changing this on interior lot?
To give people the flexibility to have RVs on the side, trailers, take vehicles off the street. And so you have a wider side yard on one side and a little bit less on the other. But the neighborhood still kind of feels the same. Homes are just shifted a little bit. Jay, what do you think about that? It's probably something you've seen around or would like to see.
My biggest thoughts were I keep my RV in my yard longer than 24 or in the front street longer than 24 hours when I'm getting ready for vacation. And luckily my neighbors don't call me out. But I have a nice side yard. I appreciate the side yard. I like the extra width over there. And if we're being flexible with that, I support that.
Help me understand these numbers then. They say the R112 one, 20 and 7. What does that mean?
So the total combined, your side yard setback on both
Is
sides
20.
is 20.
Okay.
And then the minimum on one side is 7.
I'm with, okay.
Question. Okay, anything else on this?
2 times 7.
I guess my other thought would just be, if there's a question about like the offset on the 27 versus 1010, like it always boils down to some other authority, right? Like, is it the fire guy? Is it the whatever? And as long as they're cool with it, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, we haven't, we went through this with the building department, didn't have any issues, and We also referenced the fire code. Okay, the last item, is, this is something that, the building department has asked for. Home, building, street address must be on the same side of the lot as the building front and main entrance. What we were having is some of the new homes would have the address side on the garage, if it was a corner lot, the address side on the garage. And then the front of the home where the front door is, was not the front, it was not the address side. So that's confusing for emergency services. They show up, they want to go to the front door, deliveries, street addressing. So, and it was also confusing for the building department. So we wanted to codify that wherever your street address is, needs to be your front door. And really, it's a corner lot issue. You're not going to have that on interior lots.
So wherever your front door is, that's your street address.
Yes. And that, it's common sense. It's common sense, but it wasn't happening in all cases. And it was causing some issues. So that's why we have to, that's sometimes why you have these laws that are like, well, why do we do that?
This is item 4,
No, this is part of the same.
part of the same one. Okay.
Yeah, this is all within the same ordinance, forgot the number, 10.1470.
I think that has to do with how the builders build homes. It's very common for a builder to put an address number in relation to the garage. And like, it doesn't seem like malicious to me. It seems just more like we're used to putting numbers in the garage but oh, whoops, the door's over there kind of thing.
It could have been how the home was originally platted, and then the homeowner was like, well, I want to face the other direction. And they didn't go through the process to change the address of the lot.
By us doing this, I mean, it's clearly stated in the building code. This is the way it's supposed to be regardless. So if anybody goes outside of that, then they're technically in violation of the building code. We see it every day. It's one of the things when you're going up to do a final inspection, it's one of the last things that you check is where is their address. So it's hard, but you know, sometimes aesthetics doesn't quite make the safety aspect of it go. So thanks for adding that in.
It was Rose's request. So, any questions,
So
comments on it?
where is that in here? I just couldn't find that in the,
In the packet?
yeah.
It was in the email PDF. I don't know if Teresa did, maybe that one didn't end up in the print.
Orientation. And dressing orientation. So it would be.
Oh, it's,
Yeah, so it's right.
It's right after
Dressing.
Oh, it's just not in color.
Corner lots, widths, frontages, interior side setbacks. Oh, addressing orientation. Okay.
Okay.
So it.
Okay.
depends on the-
Okay. We're good.
Oh, okay, all right.
Dressing. Orientation. Address orientation.
Any concerns with that item? No? Okay. All right, the last one is more of a discussion item. I think we're getting closer on this. This is our land use classification. I put items in purple that were new to tonight. So we can just hit on those. Let's see. Okay. Gary, this is where I added government buildings because we didn't have that, but essentially we had community use before. And I wonder, do we go back to community use? Do we do government buildings and community use together? Or they're distinct enough? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let me just go find do you have the definition of community use? And just see if it fits with what you think a community use should be. Generally, community uses are used by the cities across the state pretty much uniformly. Community use are anything to do with the city, any community buildings. It could be also religious buildings, like a seminary or institute or something if they're not separately listed. But if you take a look at the community use definition, I think every city uses the same, not every city, but like every city I've been a part of has used community use as the use that where you can put in facilities, for example, our substations and that type of thing, our community uses are, I guess we should just read it and it'd probably give you a good idea.
Yeah, I can read it. The uses which have the primary purpose of serving the educational, recreational, religious, or governmental needs of the community in general. Such uses may include churches, public and private educational institutions, private nonprofit recreation grounds, public parks, public buildings, public facilities, cemeteries, and other similar uses. This definition shall not include such uses as detention facilities, halfway houses, alcohol rehabilitation centers, and other similar uses.
So it's just kind of a general category that we put all of our, at least our city uses into, or county uses. The county came in, they wanted to put a building in for education purposes. A good illustration, I think, was the state of Utah came in and put that institution or that building on the corner for assisting businesses. Just a little kind of a business assistance place, but that's the type of uses that are included in this community uses. And it was just a category that everybody has, that rather than listing all of the things.
Yeah,
Code.
I think it'd be good to go back to it.
To catch y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It really is for,
I don't really see infrastructure
Um,
in there as part of it.
it's anything, any uses which support the very last one, which was the needs of the governmental needs of the community in general. So it has educational, recreational, religious, and governmental needs of the community in general. So if you had our fiber facilities, those types of things, if our electrical facilities, they assist in the general needs of the community. And
So we're discussing amending. What are we amending?
We're amending the land use table for commercial uses. And tonight is continuing just a discussion on it.
and this is one of the uses that he had struck. And
Yeah,
I just questioned
I
whether we
pulled
should
out the
take it or-
community use, but I think we should
Okay.
put it back. You still think it should be conditional?
It could be permitted if you wanted to. I know in Layton, they're all permitted. And
Okay,
some of the other cities are all permitted.
we might just want to update the definition to be if there's, it's good now. And then that means that government can go out because that would be covered. Okay,
It's kind of a line between what do you list, because what you don't list is not allowed. And we discussed this earlier with Jake, and there's two philosophies. One, that if you're not going to allow it, don't put it in the code at all. But then if you look at some things like vaping stations or tobacco stores or that type of thing, there are some zones that there's some uses that you just don't want anywhere in the city, and some uses that you might only want in particular zones in the city. And so the way the courts have interpreted it is in favor of the applicant. When they come in, they've interpreted it as being, if the applicant comes in with a use that generally goes along with the commercial, a good illustration are vaping uses. I did a case in St. George where I was the mediator that went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they argued that because they didn't specifically exclude vaping uses, that the general commercial category of commercial businesses should apply to their vaping stores, the same as any other. Well, that's not the way St. George looked at it. They looked at it as we left it out purposely, for this purpose, and we prohibit it purposely. So after the case went up to the courts, they ended up in going back and adding it and then just leaving it blank, which was a clear indication that it was not permitted in any of the zones. So it's kind of a two-edged sword. If you try and name everything and exclude it, that doesn't work either. But where there are things where you feel strongly about, that should only be allowed in some zones or not allowed in any zone, put them in there so that there's a clear message. And Teresa's got clear information when the person comes to the counter and says, I've got this use, and she looks and sees that that's not permitted in the city. So it's kind of a difference in philosophy. I'm sorry.
So if you don't list it because you don't want it, but suppose you don't list it, but somebody comes in and it's something you do want.
Mhm. So there's a process for making that determination. There's two processes after this last legislative session. The first process is that it goes to Jake for a determination as the zoning administrator. And if he says no, that this isn't acceptable for the city, then it goes to what they call an appeal authority, and it goes through that administrative appeal process. The appeal authority is an attorney or a individual that acts as a judge kind of on that type of situation. The other thing that they did was they allowed for it to go straight to the city council and bypass the planning commission. And they could actually change the law. The city council can actually now change the law to allow that use if it's something that you want in the zone. So the very first person, if Jake says yes, yeah, that, in fact, I think we've had that come up recently where it's something that looks like it should be allowed in the commercial zone. And, we've got other things that are like it. Every day there's a new health type service that comes in and wants to locate in a strip center. And sometimes those health centers, like I think the newest one my daughter's become involved with is the sweat houses, or what do they call them? There's hot yoga, but there's also the saunas, I guess, the saunas.
Hot work.
Hot works,
Red saunas.
I'm sitting there thinking, I would never have thought of that. I don't know. But, so there's always going to be something new that you'll have to interpret the ordinance for. And if they don't like the way that you interpret it, they have the alternative of going to the council as well to get it added to the code. If administratively they can't do it, they'll do it legislatively. Does that help?
Long answer.
Yeah.
Short question.
That's attorneys that get paid by the word. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, some of the other items, we'd taken railroad tracks out, but then came up, maybe we want that as a conditional in the M zone. It's right next to the railroad. I mean, it doesn't seem likely at all, but if one of the businesses purposely bought in the manufacturing zone that's next to the railroad and wanted to have that service, that could be a good thing for the city. So I left it as a conditional use there. That means you'd get to see it. Let's see, anything else? Most of this we've discussed before, so I'm not hitting that. We discussed adding electrical vehicle charging as a permitted use in all the zones, kind of making that blatantly obvious. Here's a question. In your mind, do you think we allow convenience stores in all the zones? Is it different if it has pumps or doesn't have pumps? Does that change how you would view a convenient store?
You're talking about gas pumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which maybe it would, it certainly would on Commercial Street, because we definitely don't want that there. We want it to be a walkable kind of downtown environment. So maybe that's the one. But if it were, sometimes you get those 7-Eleven type of convenience store without pumps in downtowns, and that might be a good thing in that location. So we could basically split gas station / convenience as one category and convenience without as a separate one.
Sense.
You're okay? Okay, good with that. Okay, let's see. Okay, question came up on a mortuary. Does it include a crematorium? I don't know anything about this.
I don't even know if it's easy to regulate. I mean, it's,
Well, yeah, what is,
there's,
State regulates most of these.
fire department doesn't even have anything to do with it.
oh, okay. Are there even any in Morgan County?
Mm-mm.
No.
36th Street. in Ogden.
Okay.
There's a
Layton
couple.
has one.
Would it matter if a mortuary had one?
I don't see the negative impacts to a community, for a crematorium, to be honest.
Would you even notice if you drove by a building that had one?
No,
In,
no.
A lot of people would be asking nowadays, and I don't know if I'm supposed to talk, but this is my input.
Yeah, they,
In Ogden, they're right in residential areas where they, you know, surrounding that crematorium.
So I don't know
Yeah.
anything about it, or they don't put off, you don't.
missions, it's all regulated by the state. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I guess not.
All right, so I didn't see the word bar, but then I went back and saw, oh, we did have tavern before. So the question is, what do we want to do with that? You do have the one in town, the Hitching Post, which is actually in the highway commercial zone. So I think would be actually allowed as a conditional use. And that's also allowed in the C commercial general as a conditional use. Leave that as is. Change it. Any thoughts on that?
What is drive-through?
What is drive-through?
Yeah.
Okay, so drive-through we have listed as two different
I mean, right there under Bar and Tavern, you've got drive-through.
Okay, that-
Related to nothing else.
Oh, yes. So that is a drive-through non-restaurant. For example,
You've got that listed up above, you got it listed elsewhere. Yeah,
well, we
that's-
have it, so we have, under restaurants, we have restaurants with drive-through and restaurants without drive-through.
Right,
And then the drive-through is basically the use of a non-restaurant. So for example, in town, we have the pharmacy, and there might be other, a bank and other uses. So
okay.
laundromat, so certainly it could be any business with a drive-through. And that might be something we look at as a conditional use. You know, there's with drive-throughs that they're good for business, but also not always very pedestrian friendly and safety issues. And sometimes they're not good in terms of how they front onto our arterial street or a busy street. So there's something to look at with those. But I wanted to nail down the tavern. Do we just leave it as is with the conditional and the two? Conditional means it does come in and you get to decide.
I
Eh.
like the conditional part of it. That way you can address any of the negative impacts.
You've got it listed again down below bar and tavern.
Yeah, I realized that. And I'm gonna pull it out there because we actually had it before.
So at the top, so you want to add bar next to tavern?
Yeah, that's probably what we should do.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's much of a difference between the two.
So a lot of times they have the outdoor areas that could create you know, the nuisance, potential nuisance violations and different things or
beer-
concerns.
A beer garden.
Yeah. And of course, the state heavily regulates alcohol, so that part, the state law
Stays.
handles, but certainly the city allowing it. Open storage, we had that before, I just moved it down, and I think that's something that we'll wanna really look at is, you know, storing stuff outside. A lot of times, construction vehicles, construction equipment. Also pretty popular these days to have like the railroad, cars, you know, some of the,
Connex boxes.
yeah, the Connex boxes, which are ugly and giant and certainly not suitable for neighborhoods.
Going back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Question, seasonal outdoor vendor, is that like maybe a Christmas tree lot or
Yeah,
something?
Christmas tree, fireworks,
Okay.
those are kind of the two big ones. And what we're trying to do is consolidate as much as possible. And each of these will have a definition, and within that will be list number of items. For example, the biggest one will be the general retail. That's where we took art, photography, you know, all kinds of retail will just fall under that category of retail. And so we can really clean this up in that way. But other times, you know, you have we have pawn shop. You know, a pawn shop is very specific in terms of somebody's taking in stuff, reselling it. It's just a different use than a typical retail.
Jason might have had a question.
Oh, Jason, go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, I was just looking at the difference between a barn and a tavern.
Yeah.
And when I look at the difference between the two, it seems like a tavern is more kind of like in line with what I see a vision of Morgan being. Like, I know there's a lot of people that don't drink alcohol here, but maybe if you get a sec, look at the difference between what some of the language is around bars and taverns, because I feel like a tavern fits in quite well with downtown Morgan and Commercial Street, and it seems like it has a changing of the vibe, you know, like maybe it's one thing in the day and it's community centric and family friendly, and maybe it's a little different at night, and bars are a little bit more straightforward, like there is an actual bar and it's kind of a thing. And so I find that just in my initial looking that a bar and a tavern are very different. A tavern seems to have a lot of words aligned with what I would think a lot of people in Morgan County would relate to be honest with you.
Yeah, good point.
Just
And
random.
there is the restaurant. You know, a lot of restaurants are also taverns as well. Okay, thoughts on that?
I think you were planning on just putting it in anyway, weren't you?
Well, we were keeping it from before, but I talked about maybe adding the word bar, and it sounds like Jason's kind of suggesting maybe we don't add the word bar, but in our tavern definition, we'll just want to make sure it aligns with exactly what is acceptable.
Add pub.
Add pub.
Good eye, Mike.
Okay. Okay, let's see. So we added smoke or vaping store, and then we left it as non allowed. That way it's explicit and obvious. We already talked about the,
Making it so Gary doesn't have to go back before the Supreme Court.
that's right. Okay, and then drive through, the comment here, well, I'm just gonna add a note. Non-restaurant. That way there's no confusion of that, so. And this, in some ways, this is kind of a secondary use. Their main use may be pharmacy, their main use may be banking, but they want to add that secondary use of drive-through, and then we look at, is it allowed or not? And how does that work? And yeah, There's a business in town looking at changing that has a drive-through, but you'll see it when they apply. Okay, under kennels and boarding, we did, thank you, you connected us with the county
Yeah.
animal control, and I did reach out, but I hadn't heard back yet, so on kennels, we're asking county animal control, what are best practices in terms of dog kennels? And then also, we didn't have a veterinarian office as a listed use. And I did put it as a permitted in the CC or the CG and the highway commercial and also in the manufacturing. I don't know if you have a thought that vet should be allowed everywhere in the city. And I know there's big vets and there's small vets and they come in all shapes and sizes. And if there's a reason, just didn't seem like the downtown fit, but maybe it could be, maybe not. Left it off.
Under the automobile related uses, it one called tire sales.
Yes.
I'm not sure of any place that sells tires. They all, the tire shop we put tires on.
Oh, and I think what we want to do with that is maybe just combine it as a tire store. I mean, not just tire sales.
Yeah.
Tire sales and service. Well, a tire store probably
I don't know
work.
what you want to call it, just any more than that, but most places don't just sell tires.
Right,
They
right.
don't.
There's
And
servicing.
Places also where you sell auto repair shop. Now tires is part of their auto repair shop. At least one I'm aware of.
Yeah. So how we write the auto repair, it's already in there, but we could just look at that definition and include,
Just,
if it just had the word tire as part of it.
just a thought, at least what I see, tire sales is part of the automobile repair
Okay.
stores.
And think about that every one of these is then corresponds with the definition in the code. And that's where someone says, well, I want to do this, and then we'd say, okay, is it allowed or not allowed? If it is allowed, then we look at the definition and it matches up.
To me, it's interesting that we're singling out a specific part on a vehicle as a category. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, how many parts are there on a car? Like tire sales, brake sales, window glass sales, like, so I would kind of prefer just a broader, like it feels like auto parts, like a tire is part of a car, but
Well, think about it this way, like the Napa in town, for example, that's a building with products and a little parking lot, that's it. But you think about a tire store, typically there's a number of bays, they're taking up more lot, that's, there's more asphalt. It's kind of I think that the reason why it's just a little bit of a different nature and use. While the point is obvious that it is part of the car, I think it is the one thing that's a little bit different.
You've got all the old used tires being stored in the back until they can come get them or whatever. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty typical of those.
Jake, I don't know of anywhere that just sells tires.
And
It's all involved with auto repair.
Well, how about like a discount tire?
Yeah, well, they still do other services.
They'll do service?
Oh, tons.
I think there would be,
Okay.
well, and we could put it under,
Okay.
we could just put it under the auto repair.
Yeah.
That's selling tires, and then we pull that use. So nobody's just selling, and nobody's just doing tires as well. Let's just say Big O is not in town, right? But let's say they wanted to come to town. Well, they're known for tires. They would fall under the auto repair category,
All kinds of
and
stuff.
because they do repair and service. and it'd be
Yeah,
fine.
I'd cover
They
it.
do inspections and.
Okay.
repairs.
Yeah, I mean, I think even Discount Tire does alignments and
Yeah,
random
Yeah,
things.
okay.
they don't do alignment, they do brakes.
You would know, Mayor. Thank you.
They ran
Okay.
off the muffler shop. They did all kinds of repairs as well.
Okay, yep.
They did all kinds
On
of-
that, as far as staff, when somebody comes in, obviously, we ask them quite a few questions, but when we're looking at something like this, we're gonna ask them what impact it's gonna be in the area. So if you're doing auto repair, we know that there's gonna be impact guns, there's gonna be noise, there's gonna be dust and everything. If they say, oh, we're gonna just do auto sales, oh, does that mean that you open your door and there's just rubber tires there and off you go? You know, that's a bigger difference. Just, you know, what impact is the first thing that we think of anything that is a use? What's the impact for the area that they're considering?
Thank you,
Maybe I
Teresa.
missed it. Do we have anything listed for vaping?
Yes, yeah.
Next, okay,
Yeah, it's at the bottom. So it's listed, but not allowed.
okay, all right.
So I
Yeah,
think
okay.
the next step for this is maybe next month to give you a cleaned up version. Cause this basically shows all the changes. And then Gary, I'm kind of thinking that we look at because this is not has to be done by specific day. We look at updating the definitions at the same time. That way we don't adopt the use, but not the definitions. So a little bit, so maybe I provide you with the land use code and then I'll come back looking at the definitions and give you anywhere I see we need to add a definition or we need to tweak a definition. So that way, when we make this recommendation to the council, they're seeing an updated land use code and they're seeing definitions. How does that sound? Okay, in the main meeting, you can reference this as a work session item. And I don't know that we need to go over it a whole lot in that. I feel like we've worked through some of it, mostly being a work item.
Hey, I just appreciate these kind of things. These little details are the kind of things that, you know, a lot of times you don't have time to sit and focus on and think about, and those little tiny things make a difference. And I've always been really pleased that we spend so much time focusing on, you know, the little details of the general plan or the little details of the permitted or conditional use and things like that. So I appreciate the activity. I know sometimes it's weird, interesting activity, but I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question? So if we didn't list it, it's not available to be here.
Is it right up here in red?
Okay,
Correct. However, there is a process that they could go
they
about.
could apply, but
They could apply.
When not listed or not marked as allowed.
And sometimes it's a definition, you know, maybe it's a soda store. Well, that's pretty much a restaurant selling of food. And so that would be fine. That would fall under that category. But maybe it's so different that we're like, no, it's actually not allowed because it's not in here. And you can apply to go through that process. And if someone's serious about this potential business, then they'll make the effort. And then the city would decide, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Okay, well, if you want to end the work session and get ready for the main session at 7. I think it'd
And
be
the work
fine.
session.
Did Tony?
My hometown.
Oh, I didn't do it this year. Didn't do it. We had some surgery. Went to their meetings where they're setting up, but my wife had surgery. Tim, I know. He told me that Sitting over the table is easy. That's your days with, you know. And, but we're anxious to get it piece. I know they're doing a really good job with that. With their Thursday, so there's the preparation. And construction. So that's pretty good.
Yes, yeah. It's my granddaughter. Yeah, she's a fun. She's a fun one. Keeps me up, and she's my Monday night date, so her mom and dad can go on a date.
Hey, that's cool.
She's got me for Tuesday.
That is awesome. But yeah, are you still involved with Ogden or are you?
So I was still running my hometown for, well, being a third party.
Yes.
Working with the Michael town to buy the properties.
Oh, yeah.
And then I wrote some different dialogue that they can use as a talk.
Really?
So they could help understand Ogden city code. Right. That way, just try to deter them when we can get them to charge. So it works, but this is the first year that we've seen an inkling in participants in properties since I left 3 years ago.
Oh, that's good.
So I was happy for that. A lot of pride.
And it's done wonders. Even in Layton, as we've started,
So
neighborhoods are starting to catch on to the idea that it is available. And that we can work together.
I was working with Gary, Steve Peterson.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Mark and John Watson. And I started the program up here in Oregon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be great.
So start with 1 and 2 properties and. The very first time we went to your church, they had like 75 volunteers.
Those are great. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's just that.
Yeah.
It's not including what you would do. Mistakes.
It's a great thing. I still talk to Nicole all the time about it. Cause she keeps track of what's going on in different cities. I had a conversation with Cal Patterson, who's down in Nevada. I think it's West Las Vegas, where he's doing it. And it's just unbelievable, especially the contributions they're getting for it. Yeah. Chris, you're a great part of it.
Are you out of here?
You're one of the pioneers.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, when we participated in that in Ogden, I don't know if you remember that order.
Yeah.
Holy, I think we took 8 bins. Can you imagine trying to do that from your perspective? Yeah.
So they gave me.
Call the meeting to order. All right, we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's on. Maybe it's not close enough to my mouth, but it's on. We're gonna call the meeting to order. We want to welcome everyone that's here, that's not part of the planning commission, and we also want to mention that the public meeting and this planning commission will be live streamed or recorded and live streamed on YouTube. And the recording will be available on morganutah.gov. I think the first thing we need to do is approve the minutes from the last meeting. So you guys had a chance to review the minutes. Someone would make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the April 21st Planning Commission meeting.
A second. Got a second from Ray. Everyone, vote. Do we vote for that or no? Yeah. All in favor? Yeah.
Jay, do you want to give us a thumbs up or thumbs down?
Does it came back?
It's okay, it carries.
You got a majority.
It carries.
I'm here. Do you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What's that? Oh, the vote was unanimous.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to agenda item number 1, which is discussion motion, conditional use permit for Young Motorsports. Going to be moving their location to 289 East, 400 North. Jake, you want to go ahead and fill us
Yeah.
in on that?
I will. Ben, are you representing the applicant as well? Okay, so just one minute and then we'll get you up. So Mr. Russell is representing the applicant on the first 2 items. There are existing facilities just outside of town, east of town on 100 South, near what is known as the Mink Farm, or used to be a mink farm. I don't know if it still has minks, but also Como Springs, and this is the facility as shown on the screen. And they're looking at relocating to Center Point, which is right next to Ridley's. And it's an existing facility. It is in the manufacturing distribution zone. Auto-related uses are already there. The ATV was a little bit wasn't exactly lined up according to our code. And that's where Teresa thought it landed as a conditional use. Our understanding from the application is that it would be servicing and selling ATVs. And so it's a commercial building with bays for repairs and maintenance and office area and a very large parking lot that could handle that. So that's a little bit of background. I do recommend we let the applicant explain what the business wants to do and see if you have any questions for
Absolutely.
him.
Yeah, I think Jake hit it on the head. They're just looking to do sales out of there. I think they're already doing some repairs and stuff, but that's exactly right. So any questions related to that or anything?
As far as but I guess we're gonna use that west end of the existing building there. That's kind of their shop in.
This end right here?
Yeah, that was what they're gonna use.
I don't know what bays they'll use, to be honest with you. I mean, there's bay doors on both sides.
Right,
There's an entrance into that west end and then bay doors on both sides. So I suppose this is the office area up here.
Right.
So it could be anywhere on this, on either side or the end.
Okay.
What about capacity? Is there still plenty of, I guess looking at their old building, that you look at the gravel area behind and there's all kinds of ATVs there,
Yeah.
where this would have to be a little bit more organized, but that's why you have a parking lot with striping and
Yeah, they've got tons of space here with all of that. They would probably love it if that was all filled up with customers, but,
Yeah.
there would probably just be a few customers and I would think they would have more space than they currently have. I mean, obviously, bay space, they would have tons more, but also storage space, I think they would have more as well.
So are they gonna service ATVs only or automobiles and everything else?
You know, that's a good question. Their business, I think, is they're kind of just moving like we all do, you know, where the business goes. I think for now, the majority of it would be the ATVs. They don't do a lot of automotive service there,
So when
so,
they say we service all makes and models, they're primarily referring to ATVs.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Any other comments, concerns?
I think I'm ready to make a motion if you'd like to. Put it up on the screen so I can read, oh, never mind, I've got it right
Yeah.
here, sorry. Like to make a motion that, we approve the, the conditional use permit for Young Power Sports Off-Road Vehicle Sales, 289 East, 400 North. Did I say that right, though? Make a recommendation for approval. Okay.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, let's vote.
Yeah, all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
It looks like it's unanimous.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to item number 2. Oh, sorry.
Let's move on to item number 2.
Sorry, I was excited for it.
Yeah, Jake, keep
Well
going.
played.
This is good.
Okay, I'll give a little bit of background and then we can also ask the same applicant some questions on it. So this application is for a preliminary plat and how our subdivision code reads, matching the state requirements on subdivisions. The planning commission's role is to review and approve the preliminary plat. And then the final plat goes to the administrative land use authority, which is a combination of legal, engineering, and planning together. And typically in the preliminary plat, we try to handle as many of the details and issues as we can, but sometimes those get pushed down into the final plat. But we certainly want during the preliminary plat, the layout of the subdivision, matching zoning and land use. So a little bit of background on that. I'm going to go to that application. I'll zoom down here and kind of show you the plat, and then we'll go to the location of it and I'll explain a little bit of background. So this is phase 1 that is existing. And now we're moving on to phase 2, 18 lots, about 7 acres. And here is the subdivision plat. So these lots are greater than 10,000 square feet. And we have 525 west, kind of the main collector street, and then some of the lateral, or excuse me, the local streets are Harding Street and then also 330 North. So there's the layout, and you'll see it's designed to continue connecting to existing streets and also stubbing up into future growth. And that's one thing that's in our code. We actually have a distance of 600 feet per block, meaning that when a development is done, we would have street connections at those 600 feet, which this meets. It does meet the zoning, which is R110, 10,000 square foot lots. Our general plan has identified as single family, medium density residential. It meets that. The transportation plan does identify 525 West as a collector street, which it is. And then it does meet all the lot widths and also the lot frontage, the distance on the street. In the packet, I included the engineering report. Engineering does recommend it for a preliminary plat, but it has identified a number of items that will need to be solved before final plat can be approved. One of those is the 36-inch diameter irrigation, because there's an existing canal on the property now, and so that's going to be piped and rerouted underneath the park strip, is where that will occur, or in another location. But some of those details need to be provided, how those irrigation boxes will occur.
I got a quick question. It says here the street number for 525 West needs to be changed to Scott Drive. The current street sign says both. It'll be both.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think just adding it to
Okay.
that.
All right.
It's already in there for me to do that.
Yeah.
Our code requires a fence whenever you have a residential property against an agriculture property. So that'll be required. Those are just some of, but again, there's no major issues. In terms of planning review, I'll go through all the categories. Whoa. Excuse me. So I mentioned the land use compliance in terms of general plan and zoning, lot sizes, lot widths, street classification, engineering. Title report, no issues. It is agriculture. They will have to pay the rollback taxes when you develop it. That's something that will be required. A geotechnical report was provided, and the subsurface soils are dense gravel. So actually, it's very suitable for building. And it is outside of the sensitive lands. Next to it is our well protection area. So areas where the water goes down into the ground for the aquifers, but this is slightly out of that. And so it's not in the wetlands or the floodplain issue. So that's not a concern.
Okay. Any comments, thoughts about that?
Yeah, as I mentioned in the work session, it does have the collector street section, which I'm really excited for, having the 8-foot trail on one side and the 5-foot sidewalk on the other.
It'll be really good.
So when a motion is made to approve this, do they need to make any mention of the engineering, the details, or they're already out?
Yeah, it's already
Already in there.
It's already in the works and happening.
You make a motion then?
Yeah, let's make a motion.
Yeah, you can ask the applicant if you have any questions.
Oh, yeah.
He came here.
I got all dressed up.
At least drill him a little bit.
Let me have it.
Anything to add?
Just more of the same, phase one is, I don't know if you've been over there recently, but the sidewalks are going in and the park strips and the street lights. We're starting on the landscaping of the retention basin. The retention basin in this one's it's a little more than an acre. And so that'll be, again, essentially another park. And that's supposed to start this week. If not, it'll be soon. But I think it's looking beautiful. There's a few homes starting
Yeah, I would,
Far so good.
I'd like to compliment you on what you've done in the entryway with the park
Thank you.
strips and everything. I
Yeah.
mean, you really cleaned that up and it really looked well, looked
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I did a little before and after the other day, and it's hard to remember what it was like because, you're just accustomed to what it is now, but
I had to put up a buffalo fence too.
yeah, we're not done with that. We'll do some more there, and Tom and I are the best friends you could ever imagine, so.
Yes.
But I think he's super happy and anyhow, yeah, it's been good. We're happy with how it's coming together.
All right, so I guess
Well, I do recommend that when you make a motion, if you make a motion in favor of it, that you include the engineering and planning comments as part of the record, meaning that the requirements that are in the work. We just want to recognize those. Is that the right way to say it, Gary?
Yes, so they become conditions of the preliminary approval. So you just incorporate the engineering and planning standards. And just one other thing, we talked about it today, but there's an secondary water pipe that goes through the property and easement that goes through the property. And what will be added probably to the engineering requirements is that the developer obtain from the secondary water company just a quitclaim deed, so that that is eliminated from the record or from any prescriptive claim in the future.
It's actually, it's not secondary, it's irrigation.
Irrigation.
Water.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is
Mhm.
being replaced. You guys have done really good in working with the irrigation company, but at the same time, the plats, before the plat's recorded, they'll need to eliminate that by quitclaim deed, and all it is a quitclaim deed on the entire property, essentially identify the entire property, quitclaim deed, whatever interest the secondary water company has to the underlying property owner, and then record the
Yeah.
plat, and that eliminates we have had problems with that in the past, so
It's yeah,
that's okay.
I
with
think
me.
that's actually one of the engineering comments, so,
Did he put that
yeah.
in?
Yep.
I don't think we talked about the quitclaim.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think,
not the quick claim on the easement, but
Yeah.
we'll add that.
Yeah.
We'll add that to the requirements. So it would be another engineering requirement that Matt intends to add. We talked about it this afternoon, so.
When someone buys one of those single family lots, they don't have this ditch easement going through their property. So before that's subdivided, let's pull that out legally.
If you want to pull the plat up, I can show you where it's happening. It's not that big a deal, but I can show you kind of where it exists currently and where it'll be relocated to, but.
So mainly you're just looking for the irrigation ditch, irrigation pipe to have a quitclaim deed
Back to the property
back
owner.
to the property.
So it will be abandoned officially.
Okay.
It won't appear on any record.
Yeah.
It won't be a prescriptive claim in the future, which it wouldn't be, but you just take care of an encumbrance on the property, get rid of it so that it's never a problem.
Can you scroll up just a little bit? Jake?
Yeah.
The other up, sorry.
Oh,
There we go. Okay, so right now, there's a ditch,
Yeah.
right there. There's actually a box and a ditch right here. That'll all be abandoned. And so the ditch currently runs along there and then just gets a little piece of that lot and just continues on right there. And so what we'll do is just abandon that, take the pipe out, we'll connect right here in the street and then just run it here and down there. And of course, we've met with the ditch company and the adjacent landowners, Turners, and gotten all the approvals and stuff, but that's what it is. So the last one, it was South Morgan ditch in phase one, and it was about 3,000 feet. This is Weber Canal and it's a few hundred, so this is nothing. Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
You still want to do it the same way? Okay.
So what he's talking about is physically removing it and abandoning it. What I'm talking about is legally getting rid of it
Okay.
so that it doesn't appear on anybody's property title or record.
go to buy a home and then it shows up at the last minute.
So when you pointed where it runs, is it right underneath the street?
oh,
It will be. Right now, would just be in the rear of these lots. That's
Right.
what's existing. It's just an open, well, it's not an open ditch. Actually, this portion is pipe. But again, we'll take the pipe out and it'll be in the right of way now.
Okay, it won't be under any of the lots.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, we're removing it from the lots and putting it in the right of way, just like with the South Morgan ditch. We removed it from the lots and it's in the right of way, so where it needs to be. Yep.
All right, who wants to take a shot? We need a motion.
Okay. I'd like to make a recommendation that we approve the preliminary plat for Morgan Creekside Meadows subdivision phase 2, including saying that that the applicant adheres to the engineering and planning comments, also including the irrigation line, putting a quitclaim deed upon that. So, is that clear enough?
That's perfect. It will just be in addition to item number 7 in the engineer's standards. He says it needs to be removed, but in addition to that, the quitclaim deed that you just mentioned would need to be filed before the recording so that we get rid of any claim of interest in the property.
Okay.
So that was perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I need a second.
I second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor? Okay, looks unanimous. All right. Okay, now that takes care of the first 2 agenda items. The next one has a public hearing. But I don't think we have anyone here for a public hearing, so what do we do?
Oh, we still open it.
Still open it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's open up a public hearing for a
Go ahead,
motion or an ordinance 2606 amending title 10.14.070 residential zones regarding corner lots, widths and frontages. We did discuss this in our work session, and I think everyone understands this item, but let's,
Make a motion to open.
let's make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make the motion that we open the public hearing.
Okay.
Second.
All right, all in favor? It's unanimous.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes, Teresa's been in comments.
any comments online?
Currently have no public online or in the audience.
Vice Chair, if you'd like, I could give a little bit of background for the public,
Let's do it.
and then you can have them provide any comments.
Like
So
it.
this is something we actually had a public hearing last month as well. So we're actually continuing it, a little bit atypical, but that's how we decided to do this item. So this is the second time we're having this open. Tonight, we have a little bit more information on what we're proposing, so a little bit more specific. So this is for single-family lots, and as shown on the screen, the red are the recommended changes. And for the R120, if it's a corner lot, then it would also be 90 width. If it's a R112, it would be 80. If it's a R110, it would be 80. R18, which isn't allowed now, we're not touching, and RM7, we're not touching because they're smaller lots. And then the RM15 would be 80. So that's the first thing. And that only applies to corner lots. We're not changing anything with interior lots. And the purpose is, as you lay out a subdivision, having the same lot widths next to each other helps in terms of alignment and making it work together. You can still do the bigger lots, but it works a little bit better. And I went through and did all the setbacks, and if someone is still meeting all the setbacks, they can still build. It just gives a little bit more flexibility. And we're not changing the size of the lots either. I think that's important for anyone to know that's concerned is the lot size is still the same. It's just what is the lot width for a corner lot?
Is that for inside lots or corner lots?
Just corner lots.
Read the first verbiage there.
Minimum lot width, setback at the inside and then corner.
Inside and corner.
Inside and corner,
Okay.
but the proposed, the number changes is just for the corner. The second number are the only ones. And then the other item that we're looking at is the minimum combined yard setback. And this is for interior lots. So related, but different item. So if someone was building a new home and before Morgan City would require a 10-foot side yard setback for the lot.
Both sides.
Both sides. Now what we're saying is you still have to do the 20 feet, but you can slide it over essentially up to 3 more feet. And that additional 3 feet would allow for someone to put an RV, a trailer, a vehicle, a bigger garden, whatever it may be on it. And so that does give us a little bit of flexibility. This is something a lot of cities in the area have already done, and it's proven to be favorable for builders and buyers because they get to use one size. As we looked at this, we talked with our building department. They were okay with it. It actually came from them, the suggestion. And also we looked at it in terms of fire code, and it meets fire code. So there's not a concern there. And then as we discussed in the work session was that if planning commission likes this recommendation, for the corner lot, we could look at the text to allow that 3 foot bump out. So for the lot line that's next to, if you have a corner lot, the lot line that's next to the interior lot, you actually slide over that 3 feet. And so you'd have more room out on the corner. That's maybe less important, but still gives the best benefit there. And then the last item as part of this is that we found that on some of the new homes, the address has been showing up on the garage side instead of the front door for corner lots. And so the building department has requested that the street address be on the same side as the front of the home. And the reason it probably wasn't this way is because it was platted a certain way, the address on one side, the homeowner wanted it on a different side, doing a different floor plan, a different layout. And so this will just require a requirement on updating the plat and fixing that. So the front door is also the street address, which will be good for emergency services, deliveries, and anyone else looking for a front door.
Obviously applies only to corner lots.
And it really applies to corner lots, yes. So there's a little bit of background. If you'd like now, you could hear from the public if there's any comments, suggestions, concerns. Yes, please. Yeah.
Just a couple of thoughts, I guess. I love the idea of within the 20-foot envelope on an interior lot, being able to move a few feet one way or the other. I just think that just creates some flexibility again for a homeowner. And so I think that's a great idea. On the corner lots, those are always difficult. And so I don't know what the answer is, but it seems like if there was a way on a corner lot, because if you reduce the frontage to 80 feet, which is fine, but then you have a 25-foot setback on the front and a 25-foot setback on the side, man, it's tough to fit a house on there. You know what I mean? And so in my perfect world, if one of those, and let me go back a little bit too, I think addressing where the front door is great, but I like the flexibility for the homeowner to be able to choose on a corner lot what way it faces. And they have that flexibility, but I guess once they make that choice, then the address is where the front door. And so I would hate to eliminate, and that hasn't been suggested, but to eliminate, them being able to face the house one of two directions. But if something could be done on the setback on a corner lot to ease that, because when you start figuring out the setbacks and the square footage on a corner lot, the envelope to build a house, the percentage of space restricted from putting your home on there is it's a big percentage. And so again, if in my perfect world, if there's some compromise on I'm okay with the 25-foot setback on the front, but on that side yard, if there could be some easing there. And I think part of what complicates that is our requirement for the gas to be 18 feet, back a curb. And so that kind of complicates that as well. But that would be my comment with those. I think we're heading in a good direction. So.
Any other comments? So do we make a motion to close the public hearing?
Yeah, if there's no one else.
I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing.
All in favor?
Second.
She seconded. Okay, it's unanimous, so public hearing closed. Any more discussion, any comments?
A question on corner lots, Jake or Teresa. Teresa's probably told me this before, I forgot. You got on a corner lot, you have a front yard where the front door is. And that's a 25-foot setback. And the side yard is on the other side of the street, that's also 25 setback. On their two sides, what determines the back and the side yard?
Were you gonna answer that? No? Okay, so your question is, what's the difference between the back?
What determines which side is the back and which side is the side yard of the two non-street sides?
It depends when they go to build the home. Because everything is exactly around which way is the front of the home. Because we have the front setback, and then we have the side yard interior and the side yard corner, and then the back of the home. So the setback really comes into play at the home building phase on a corner lot.
Okay, so what determines in this, which of the other two sides, which is this opposite, not talking about the two that are not street sides,
Yes.
the other two. What determines which one of those is a back setback and which one's a side yard setback? Of the two that are non-street sides?
Again, which direction the home is facing.
So the side opposite the front door, is that the backyard?
Yes, yes,
And the side opposite the side yard is the side yard?
yes.
Okay.
And really at the subdivision,
The reason I asked that is I have a one that I know of for sure. Their front yard, where the front door is, the back of that is only 10 feet to the neighbor. The side where their garage is, the opposite, that side, that's a 25-footer. I know
Okay.
for sure. The side, their backyard is only 10-foot setback. That's why I asked that question.
yeah.
That is built currently, and I know for a fact that's the way it is.
And maybe it was built under a different code,
No, it wasn't. It's brand new,
was
2
it?
years old.
Okay,
I asked the question is, how do you determine?
yeah. And that's when they come in for a building plan, they have to show the setbacks and show the building. So it is reviewed at that phase.
To Ben's point, you only got the 80-foot front setback. How you put 25 foot on there in the house, you only got room for another 25 foot behind that house.
There still is, I penciled this out, like actually drew it all out. There's 2,000 square feet on a 10,000 square foot lot that they can figure that out. If 80 by 80 is less than a 10,000 square foot lot. And so that's where they would, when they're plating out, they would actually look at it. Now, his point about the 25 on the corner, right now that's dictated where the city puts the gas line.
Right.
If the city changed how we did utilities, that could change. Because, I mean, there's a lot, you could do it so the home is closer to a sidewalk and the garage is farther back so that you still get the vehicle off the sidewalk. But right now, the utilities dictate that.
So what's the current requirement for a gas line?
18 feet.
18 feet from the house,
Back
from the
of
back of the curb.
And there's a distance that they require, which is 14 feet to the house.
From the gas line to the house.
From the gas line to the house.
Yeah.
So it's really tight, but almost most cities in Utah actually put the gas in the park strip. And so that changes it up. But right now, that's how Morgan City does it.
The reason I asked that question, with Ben here, does that make any sense to allow the builder / homeowner to decide which non-street side is 10, which is a 25? Does that make sense to do that?
Does to the builder.
To allow the,
Yeah,
to
for
to allow
sure.
homeowner, so I say, I guarantee I know what's exactly like I'm talking. My next door neighbor, guaranteed. Guaranteed. So does that give a builder or homeowner more flexibility? I'm not opposed to it. We just want
It
that
it does
gives
give
some
more flexibility, but they will have to pay attention that they don't build a lot that's like, you know, that you only can put a tiny home on. I mean, corner lots, you have to really study how you do them.
Yeah, if that makes sense or not. If I need to talk to you afterwards on that scenario, but
I think Jake made an interesting, am I allowed to speak?
On the mic.
Sure,
First,
sure.
you know, if you're just using quick math and you got a 10,000 square foot lot, and Jake said, I did the math on it, and you roughly have a 2,000 foot envelope. Going, I bought a 10,000 foot square lot.
Yeah.
And I can't build on 80% of it. I pay taxes on it. I gotta improve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, anything I think we could do to provide a little flexibility.
That's why you still got a lot of corner lots left over your subdivision, right?
Yeah, let me just say this. So your 80 by 80, of course, is 6,400, but your lot size is 10,000. There still is 3,500 square feet. So it's not gonna, the lot size is not gonna be 80 by 80. It's actually gonna be bigger in one dimension or another. So all this does is just give a little bit more flexibility
Right.
in the building layout
And I-
or in
yeah, I
the
just-
subdivision
I
layout.
understand what you're saying. I just wonder if that additional piece to let them choose which is their back and side yard, non-street ones, if that gives more flexibility if that's needed or not.
It does. It just happens at the building step.
But it's not allowed currently. Do we want to try and allow that?
No, currently you can orientate your house either way.
Right, but you can't choose you can't choose your non-street side, which is your back, and which is your front.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can.
Can you?
Yeah.
You just said you couldn't.
Just by where you decide to place the home is how it,
Mhm.
the front door.
So you get to pick where you put the front door, so therefore that changes what's gonna be your backyard.
The front door determines it.
Front door determines
Okay,
address.
I'll draw you a picture afterwards, Jay.
Great.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
It's different than what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I like that, because sometimes what would be considered the side yard, if you can use the 30-foot setback for that and 10 foot in the backyard, it allows that home to fit on a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I get
Exactly.
what Teresa's saying. I can choose where my front door, I get that. But can I choose which of my two non-street sides,
Yeah,
which one's front, which one's back? Which one's side, which one's back?
Okay.
and so if you're just going by the strict interpretation of the back setback is opposite of the front door, that's what Jake is saying, the interpretation is. What you're saying though is at times, and I agree with you, Ray, is that if sometimes opposite the front door, that can be the 10-foot setback. And then the other opposite side is the 30-foot setback. It allows you to fit that home on there. And there is examples of that around.
Yeah. My
Well,
next door neighbor, I promise you.
We could come back and look at that. Doesn't mean we can't change that in the future.
Just a thought.
It could be looked at. Okay.
Lots, the
Yeah,
more
you look at
flexibility you can get, the better.
My next door neighbor, you can look at that.
Yeah. Well, that corner lot next to you is what you're kind of referring to, right?
Yeah. I'm not opposed to it. I
Yeah.
just think it gives more flexibility. If we're talking about flexibility of stuff, that's what I thought this was about, was flexibility.
It is.
I'm not opposed to my neighbor. It works fine for me. I'm not opposed to it. But it would give more flexibility in the code.
So at this point, do we want to go ahead and make a motion for item number 3
Be closed public- okay,
to amend,
Go ahead.
It's closed.
to amend the Title 10.14.070 regarding corner lots? Do Do we want to make that motion now?
Yeah. Anybody else want
go
to do it?
It's not just regarding corner lots.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we recommend ordinance 26-06 amending title 10.14.070 residential zones, tables 3-1 regarding corner lots, widths and frontages, interior side yard setbacks, and addressing orientation. We were talking, did we need to put a specific amendment for the interior side of the corner lot?
Correct.
Okay, I make that motion along with it.
I'll second that.
Got a second? All in favor? Looks like it's unanimous. That it?
But that's it on that item.
Okay.
And then if you want, you can mention that the fourth item, discussion of the commercial manufacturing land use classification, we ended up discussing as a work item, and maybe it's not necessary because we worked through that during the work session.
And then next time you're gonna come with a cleaned up version of the land use classifications and definitions?
Correct.
Okay. I like it.
That'd be really. Can I make I think you kind of already, talked about it, that you were going to be, that you might be able to look at some of the things that Ray was bringing up, that we might be able to look into that corner lot and see, what other ways that we can be a little bit more flexible with that. Is that something that staff can just look at?
Yeah, yes.
That's a discussion for our next meeting.
Or-
Yeah, it could be a discussion item in the next meeting.
Well, I just like to, it's advantageous when a new subdivision goes in that they sell all the lots, because you don't want vacant lots. And if we can make it easier to sell a corner lot so that the whole subdivision fills up, that just common sense, isn't it, to make it work?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have anything else.
Okay. So we close, make a motion to close?
Like to make a motion that we adjourn.
We don't need to vote on that, right?
I vote.